Student safety is priority at Rebel Roundtable meetings. Today, find out what topics are being discussed. Lon Kruger is in studio today, ready to give the rundown on the Runnin' Rebels. And watch what you say and do, because the campus gossip still might just find you. All this and more on this edition of UNLV Views. Welcome, Rebels, and thank you for joining us. I'm LaTanya Bird, and this is UNLV Views for Thursday, October 29th. Every month, CSUN and campus police bring serious topics to the round table. Students and officials join to secure student safety. Ashley Cregan has more.
CSUN and the UNLV Police have partnered up to hold Rebel Roundtable meetings, an open discussion forum where students can share their voice. Once a month, students and officials talk about crimes and prevention to improve safety and security on campus and in the community. The topic of this month was sexual violence. An outreach awareness coordinator for the Jean Nidich Women's Center, Christina Hernandez, says these meetings can be a little too realistic for students.
I think that a lot of times students don't attend because it's that fear of, if I talk about it, if I'm here, then it makes it real, and it makes it real for me, and I could be a victim or a survivor of any of those crimes. So I think that oftentimes that's one of the huge barriers, is that idea that it can never happen to me, or I don't really want to acknowledge it because then it can't happen to me.
Students who attended learned something from the meeting.
Yes, they were interesting. I learned a lot, yes, about different topics, yes. Especially with the incapacitated, drinking, drugs, or not knowing, not consenting. That's really important. I had no idea. If you're drunk, you're high, you can't consent.
The meetings provide food, prizes, and guest speakers, as Miranda Smith, a victim of sexual violence who shared her story. Rebel Roundtable meetings are held on the first Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. in the Student Union. I'm Ashley Kringen for UNLV TV.
It's now time to hoop it up right here in studio. Michael S. Jackson takes on Runnin' Rebels head coach Lon Kruger one-on-one. Michael, the ball's in your court.
Thank you. Hello, Rebels. Today in studio, I have UNLV Runnin' Rebel basketball coach Lon Kruger. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
So this is your 6 years UNLV basketball coach. You've had several different teams come through. Can you give us kind of a preview on this year's team?
Really excited about this year's group. They're very hungry. They've worked hard throughout the summer and the preseason work in the fall, and through 10 days of practice show to be a group that will be unselfish. They'll work awfully hard. I think they'll be a group that can guard people defensively. Rebounding continues to be a big key, but I'm excited about this group.
Now we have several new faces on the team, a lot of highly touted transfers, and Chase Stanback from UCLA, Derek Jasper from Kentucky. We've also have Steve Chopper Jones from Arizona State.
And that's a good group. That's a really good group. And Chase Stanback sprained his ankle about 2 weeks ago, and he hasn't practiced yet. But he's really hungry to get out there, of course. And Derek Jasper's rehabbed that knee last year, and he's doing well. And Steve Chop Jones, great enthusiasm and intensity every day in practice.
Now we also have some pretty good freshmen as well. Carlos Lopez from Henderson Prep as well. What kind of presence is his 6'11" height going to bring to the team?
We're excited about him. We've got an outstanding freshman group. More excited about them every day, along with Carlos at 6'10". 6'11", we've got Justin Hawkins, young guy from Taft High School, and Anthony Marshall, a local guy from Mojave High School here in Vegas. And all three have a very good feel for the game. They work awfully hard and doing a great job in the transition.
Now, we lost some key players from last year's team, Wink Adams, Joe Darger, as well as Rene Rougeau. Who stepped up in the leadership role for this year's team?
This group will have good leadership. I think a combination of Oscar Belfield, Trey Willis from last year, Darius Santee, Bryce Masamba, veteran guys. Derek Jasper has been a leader on his teams wherever he's played throughout his life. So we'll have good leadership, maybe a little bit by committee, but I think in the end, between Oscar Belfield, Trey Willis, Derek Jasper, those guys out there at the guard spots will give us good leadership.
Now, looking at the schedule, we have some key marquee games against Louisville as well as Arizona. We also have 3 games against teams from your home state of Kansas. One against Washburn for the exhibition game, and then also Pittsburgh State, where you coached at first, as well as Kansas State, where you graduated from. How do you feel about having teams from your state of Kansas?
You always go back to people you know, relationships you have, and in scheduling. And college teammate Bob Chipman is the coach at Washburn, so we typically play them in the exhibition game because we know they're going to play extremely hard, and it's good for them because they get a little bit of a budget boost and travel to Vegas, so we like doing that. And then Kansas State's picked top 3 or 4 in the Big 12 conference this year, and we know how tough that league is and how good they'll be. And then, as you say, Pittsburgh State's our opener, and we expect a great crowd for Pittsburgh State on November 14th. Ticket sales are going extremely well, and we'll have a good time in the Thomas and Mack.
Now, how does the team feel about going back-to-back against Louisville and Arizona?
Tough schedule, no question about that. Players like playing other good teams. Fans like watching good teams. We've got Louisville in the Thomas and Mack. We go to Arizona, so it'll be a big challenge for us in early December.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today, Coach.
My
Back to
pleasure.
you.
My pleasure.